Jiu-jitsu by day, Energized Show by night.
Lads, who's nervous? Because I am. Right, here we go. Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Aura Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today we have the face of Cork MMA. He's the greatest thing out of the Rebel County since the Tanta O'Halpin. It's the one and only. It's John Boy. It's the Cork Horse Box. It's John Mitchell. How's the form, John? Are you well?
It's very good, lad. If I could get that introduction everywhere I go now, I won't be doing too bad. So thanks for having me back on.
You know, we have to give a bit extra for the Cork lads. You know what I mean? We'll have a few of the boys in the DMs giving us a bit of stick. So, you know, we're Cork's favorite MMA podcast. So, like, we have to try and stay in that realm, Basmo, don't we?
Amen, bud. Amen, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. John Boy, you're living up in Dubai, training your arse off. I feel like you're the leader of like a new squad over there of Irish lads. Tell us what it's like over there and who have you got with you?
It's great, man. The Irish group is really building over here, and like it's cool because it's with lads I'm training with forever. It's like Paul Buckley's moved here, Senan Coakley's moved here, Nathan's. I'm not sure if he's moved here, but he's done his full camp here, and I hope he does move here. And yes, we've got a really good squad on the mats at the moment, and then we always have new people coming in as well. So we'll keep the Irish Dubai thing going, you know.
Absolutely. And then obviously I've seen you guys are getting a lot of work in with Ozzy. How did that relationship come from? And for Irish people who don't know his background, maybe give us a bit on it because he's an elite level coach.
He's the best in the world, lad, and I've really seen it now with this year. And so he was down in the gym, and we just met and started talking. I'm sure the first time I talked to him, I was just off that loss of PFL, like, you know what I mean? There was a lot of changes in my career, and when I started talking, the first time we talked for like 3 hours, we really clicked. He's been training me ever since, like, and I've just done the full year with him now, and it's made a massive difference, you know.
Yeah. So much of a difference to PFL and Bellator. I put you in the Dagestani change room this time around.
That's it, and they're right as well. If they saw, like, I could always wrestle for an Irish lad, but I thought I could wrestle till I met him, but now I know I can wrestle. So I'm looking Dagestani at the moment.
Absolutely. And tell us this, like, obviously this card's got a bit spicier, but tell us this. Obviously, you have the Irish boys in camp. Do you feel like you guys are out with a point to prove now to show the level of Irish MMA?
Yeah, 100%. Especially seeing as I'm fighting a French fella, like, you have to hammer that lad. You know what I mean? Like, but I really think the boys are going to get it done too. You know, like it's my third time fighting a French fella now, and so you know, and it's from the same place. I think they're both from Marseille. Like, so just like Ireland versus Dagestan, Cork versus Marseille again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a little different angle we've gone on it. Like, but yeah, but I think like the boys have a great chance of winning. Like, Paul can knock anyone out. He fights. Nathan's got guillotines Kenny's got guillotines coming out of his ears. That was always a big thing when I fought Kenny twice to watch out for. And then from training with Nathan, man, it's so hard to get that guy down. If you get him down, it's even harder to keep him down. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan's been on absolute fire as of late. So is Paul Hughes. Tell us this. Obviously, Kenny and Paul aren't out yet. Have you been in contact with them? And are they coming to join the Irish lads?
So I think Kenny might just be coming out like very close to the fight, but I said, you know, like, Kenny's more like a friend of mine as well. He's more than welcome to ever train with us. And Paul, I don't know, is he here already, man? But I think he's so close to his camp now, he probably doesn't want new training partners coming in. Like, you don't want sending Coakley throwing head kicks at you from across the room, you know. So like, you know, but he's just doing his own thing because he's a huge fight coming up.
No, absolutely, of course. And obviously, like, this is a massive card. There's a lot of eyes on it. I think there's been more talk about this Bellator card than there has a lot as of late. Do you feel like you're fighting on a bigger card? And obviously, it's the first time a major MMA promotion's come to Dubai. Like, what's it like on the ground there? Is there a lot of people talking about this fight over there?
Yeah, it's class, man. There's loads. You know, when I fought in 971 FC here in May, like that was massive, and you can really actually feel it in the place. And that's sold out now. And like there was Irish expat community is massive here, and you know, Irish lads getting behind the fight. Like, and now that it's bigger again and it's Bellator, it's huge. Like everyone that I know personally is actually going. You know, so it's you can really feel it here. It's good.
Yeah. John, you're obviously very active in 2023, and then in 2024 you had one MMA fight and one boxing match as well. Like, what would you want to do in 2025?
You know, so I actually had like 12 or 5 fights in the 12 months in 2023. You know what I mean? Like in the actual, like in a 12-month period. And I was planning to stay as active because I love to stay active. And I got like a very bad staph infection that actually put me into hospital. So that put me under the PFL Europe season again. Because initially I was supposed to fight Skitizi in the first one of that, but then I was in hospital and it just didn't make sense. And what can you do if you nearly have sepsis? Like, you know what I mean? But it was actually good for me because, you know, rarely do you get the time just to fully develop. I was working with new coach Ozzy all the time, and I was doing all these fight camps around the world and stuff. So I got a full year of development. But like this year now, like from doing those camps and from sparring the best guys in the world, now I really want to cement myself as one of the best fighters in the world this year because I know I'm there. I've so much like actual evidence to prove it instead of me just saying it to myself in the mirror. You know what I mean? I've sparred all these guys. I've done very well against them. So just this year, like fight all these big fights that come start in January the way I want to, and just really cement my name now. You know, I'm around a long time at this point.
Yeah, and obviously at the moment it looks like PFL are changing. Like I suppose maybe one thing that I want to point out. I know there was the $1 million tournament now. It looks like the purse is going to be $500,000, but it's $500,000 on top of your purse. So, like, just say you're earning $50,000 a fight, you get $50,000, and then $500,000, you get $650,000. As opposed to previously, you would have got $50,000, and $50,000, and you would have got $850,000 to bring you up to the $1 million. So it's not as devastating or as much of a pay cut as people have it make it out. Obviously, the million's much better. It's a sexier number, we'll say. But John, that's still like an outrageously large amount of money to win after 3 fights. If you came out with 650 grand type of thing, would you agree?
Oh, it's fucking definitely. Like, you wouldn't say no to that, would you? It's better than welfare, isn't it? Jesus, it's unreal. It's unreal.
Slightly better, yeah.
Yeah.
What's called? You'd buy a few houses down in Cork with that, would you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We nearly get half the city with that, sure.
Sure. Look, yeah, not a bother to you. You know what I mean? You sure. Look, you could even buy Brian Mann in the gaff. No bother to you.
I get him too.
John, like before we get more into your fight, like just like obviously you're living in Dubai. You've been there for like 4 years.
4 years now, yeah.
Yeah, like just like looking at the MMA scene in Cork, like over the last couple of years, it's really grown. What's your sort of thoughts on it? Like looking from Dubai.
It's unreal, man. It's flying. Like I'm still very, very close to the boys. I was only on the phone to Jack McGuire there last week. I always been ringing him flat out coming up to the fights, you know. And obviously Aaron's like my main coach there since I was 18 years old, you know. And it's unreal because like I'm sure I've said kind of the origin story before. Initially it was just myself, Aaron McGuire, and Jack Monaghan, and Jack McGuire, and we just had like a blue crash mat, and we were training there like alongside a Thai boxing gym. And now when I ring Jack, like they nearly have an event every 2 weeks. Someone's fighting. They've got loads of amateurs. They've got pros coming up the ranks now. You know what I mean? Paul Buckley is going to be a star. I've said that for ages. Like he's 1-0 now. We're looking to have a fight confirmed for him in March, maybe even February as well. So it's unreal to see. You know, it really like. I always kind of consider myself, and I don't want to sound very like an MMA Cork pioneer. You know what I mean? Like fighting on these big shows and stuff. And now there's loads of guys coming up behind me, so it's class.
Yeah, it's probably the most well-recognised name out of Cork who does MMA, to be honest. Yeah,
well, I was the first lad to fight in PFL, and definitely the first lad to fight for Major League title, and then like going to be the first guy. I think Sean Tobin fought Bellator as well back in the day, but I'm going to be the first lad to fight in Bellator International and get a win, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's with Elite Fighting Championships as well. The way there's like so many fighters from Cork getting an opportunity to fight and put their name out there as well. And like as Ross said earlier, the way Brian Manning's really put his name out there as well, Ross.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually think this was a really standout year for MMA Cork, and I feel like with yourself and Paul Buckley also still representing the gym far afield. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a massive 2025 for the gym. Obviously, you get your hand raised on the 25th of Jan. Paul Buckley picks up a win. You know, Brian Manning, like, no doubt about it, will be picked up by, you know, a Cage Warriors or an Octagon this year. Like, it has to be. And like, it'll go from strength to strength. You know what I mean? Like, people like Sam Driver are doing really well on the amateur scene. Lee McGill, Jack McGuire is an Octagon as well. And
huge.
like the gym is really, really thriving. It's probably, as you probably touched on, John, it's probably in the best place it's ever been. Does that give you a good sense of pride, John, that like you were one of the people who actually like helped put this gym on the map, and now you're seeing the fighters come in their droves?
Yeah, 100%. And it was all Aaron Maguire, you know, like Aaron really like I'm so grateful for Aaron forever, because like I'm really happy with the life I live now, and it's all thanks to him meeting me when I was like 18 years old there outside the gym, and I told him I want to be a fighter, you know what I mean? And now he's building something real special. Like, everyone from MMA Cork is super solid fighters, and now we're all in big promotions, you know. So it's class, fair play to him, and it's only getting bigger, you know. Like, he's outgrew one gym, he went to a bigger, and now he's gone to another gym again, and even I think that's going to get bigger again, you know. So he's flying it. It's unreal to see.
Yeah, with that, obviously Aaron Maguire was a super talented fighter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in the amateur scenes, like, he had wins over Richie Smullen, he had wins over your mate Nathan Kelly. Don't forget to remind him when you see him. But tell us this: like, is he done now, or like, is there any chance we see him put back on the gloves one more time?
I'd personally love if you put that back on the gloves. You know what I mean? Even I'm no doubt in my mind, if I went back to MMA Cork, Aaron would still give me problems. You know what I mean? It'd be deep in my head about sparring that lad, you know. But he's, I think he's full-time coach now. I think he's so busy and stuff that's his passion, kind of his purpose. So, but you never know. You know what I mean? We might convince him after this chat.
Yeah, call him out here.
Like, put it this way, like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously PFL are gonna come back to Dublin at some stage. I feel like with the strong roster they have now, or maybe even Belfast, if Paul Hughes wins a world title. And I think, you know, he'd be an absolute model for a coddle to bring a lot of boys from Cork up there along with yourself. You know what I mean? I feel like
you would, of course, man. That'd be huge.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'd love that. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would love to see Aaron back in there. You know what I mean?
And obviously he's a free agent because he hasn't fought in so long. So I just think it'd be great to see him get the recognition as a fighter one last time, because I feel like he has the recognition now as a coach, but I feel like people actually forget how good he was.
And man, you know, like, from talking, he's unreal, you know. His everything is good, you know, and he's always training. He's always doing bits of that big class. I'd love that now. I'll tell him after this. Yeah,
Johnny Duggan says he runs rings around him on the mats, though. Just saying.
Oh, I don't know. The jury's out there.
Shout out to Johnny Duggan as well. John, you're number one fan, especially in Cork. John, you're obviously fighting on the 25th of January. You're currently 9-2, about to go 10-2, taking on Sohail Tayari, who's 7-5-1. What do you actually know about Tayari?
Yeah, so, you know, he's from a very solid gym. You know, like, records can be deceiving. Like, this is going to be a great fight. I really think it's going to be a shootout. Like, he's good everywhere. I obviously believe I'm better everywhere, you know, but we're going to find out January 25th. I think he's tough. He's durable. He's had some big fights. He done well on the UA Warrior scene over here for a while. And like, we've a good plan in place. Like, you know, I've done between boxing, Thai boxing and MMA, like, it's my 53rd fight now. And, you know, I can genuinely hand on my heart say with Coach Ozzy, like, this been hell, this camp, in the most positive sense. Like, so all the work's done now. Now we just go find out and we run the thing, you know. So it's this gonna, I actually genuinely believe that this is gonna be fight of the night.
Yeah, well, look, like, there's never been a boring John Mitchell fight. You know what I mean? We can't wait to see you get in there and do your thing. And we're looking for a more active 2025 for John Mitchell as well. I'm sure you're looking the same. Is there particular names that you'd like to see standing across the cage for you in 2025, or are you just looking to be as active as you can?
Just the bigger names, the better. You know what I mean? Like, as I was saying prior there before we went live, like, this is the year I spent myself as an elite level world class fighter that I already know I am. And just whoever, you know, and it sounds like such a fighter thing to say, but honestly, whoever, like, wants a big established name that people know, and I go out and put a masterclass on him, and just more of that, you know.
Yeah, last week we had Nathan Kelly on. He said he'd like to face off against Pitbull this year.
Class, unreal, man. Nathan is like, it was actually kind of like nearly a nostalgic moment for me. Nathan, the other day, we were waiting outside the gym in our cars, waiting for to go into training, and I was like, man, it's mad now that like me and you 10 years ago we were fighting on Cage Legacy, Draw had it together, and I've always been in touch with Nathan. He's a top man, and now here we are in Dubai getting ready for a big fight in Bellator. It's unreal, like, you know. So and he's only ever got better and better and better, and he's on smoke at the moment. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited. I genuinely believe he's going to beat this guy, and then he can fight anyone he wants, can't he?
Yeah, well, I think he'd be brilliant for the next featherweight tournament. And I also think Kenny Mokunowana has a massive chance here because Ibrahim, who he's fighting, is getting a massive push from PFL and Bellator. And if you could be the person to, you know, you topple him and, like, you know, you have a great opportunity to steal all that hype and go in there and, like, make a name for yourself off him, because, like, PFL have him in Old Trafford with Man United, and his brother actually plays for Man United Youth Academy, and, like, they're really leaning into that, and they're, like, trying to make this guy a Manchester superstar. So, like, Kenny Mokunowana, we haven't seen him for a while, and I think there's a great opportunity for him to come in here and make a massive name for himself. I think all the card. I think one thing about this card that I think Bellator have is that definitely for the Irish fans, each of the Irish fans' fights all has their own sort of intricate storyline that people are dying to see. You know what I mean? And I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be an absolute star-studded card from an Irish perspective, and like must-see TV. But with that, I do have to ask you about the main event. Obviously, in your weight class as well, Paul Hughes going up against Usman Nurmagomedov. What do you make of this fight? What do you make of Paul Hughes' rise in the PFL and Bellator?
It's unreal to see. Paul Hughes is a top man, and you know, when he was going over to Thailand, he stayed with me for like 2 or 3 days, and we got to train. And all those FAI guys are legends. Like, I spent a lot of time with Paddy McCrory and in Thailand, like for that PFL season, and I got really close to him and Corey McLaughlin as well. Every time he's in Dubai, he comes training for us too. So, man, I genuinely believe Paul's going to knock him out. You know what I mean? Like, he's a super tough guy to take down. He can knock anyone out with his hands. I don't think the AJ McKee fight was close. You know what I mean? I think Paul won every round. But obviously, it was competitive, like, but I don't think it was like it shouldn't have been a nail biter of a decision. So, I think the upset's ready there for Paul to do, and I don't think he'll be shocked by it. You know, I won't anyway.
No, I think he's expecting it anyway. And look, he's full of confidence, and like that's when that man's at his best, when he's full of confidence. And definitely, I'm looking forward to seeing Pasmo. Are you?
No, 100%. That's why people have to make sure to tune in. I think Bellator and PFL know that, like, their audience in Ireland is very, very strong. So therefore, that's why they're doing this. Like, they're just getting all the Irish lads on the card. Like, there's 4 at the moment. Who knows? Someone else might jump on because it is on next week. John, you always say that pressure is a privilege. What does that saying mean to you?
Do you know, like, I'm blessed to be in this position. Like, here I am in a big fight again, you know, and it's because, like, other fighters in the card, like Nathan, we're only having this chat. It's because we're always the guy that's always stayed at it. We always kept taking each other on these big fights, you know what I mean? Just always roll the dice and back ourselves, and it's changed our lives. Like, we're living full time now as professional fighters. We're all getting paid for the fight, you know. It's unreal. So then you see with Cork coming up behind me, you know what I mean? You be like, as I'm older now, you see how many people that you can actually inspire with this stuff. So, like, I'm privileged to be able to be that guy for them and for myself, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Pressure definitely is a privilege, and it's one that you definitely thrive under, you know.
Yeah,
we are definitely here for. And look, this is going to be an absolutely humongous card, and like, great to hear that little nostalgia between you and Nathan as well. Like, it's great to see that, like, you know, I mean, you can reminisce and look back that you were, you know, I suppose fighting in either like hotels or, you know, halls, and now you're under the bright lights in Dubai, one of the most thriving cities in the world, and all eyes will be on you guys. I think it's going to be an absolute phenomenal show. And look, it looks like it's going to be one of Bellator's last shows before, like, it fully goes under the PFL banner. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I know you fought the European title, and geez, you were a razor hair away from winning as well. You nearly had him finished. Is that something that you want in 2025 to get back on the European scene, or is that on the cards for you?
We'll see what happens now after this fight. There's Sean Coakley just walked into the room as well, distracting me in my interview.
You can tell. Do you want to make a guest appearance?
Yeah, come on, make a guest appearance.
He's not looking scruffy.
What's happening?
Senan, we won't ask John. We'll ask you. What's your prediction for John's fight?
Oh, he's gonna spark this cunt out. I think your man's gonna be very surprised. Sorry for my language, but I think your man will be very surprised with the level of John. Like, and I think
that's the Dublin horse box.
Yeah, of course, lads. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think your man's
Don't you forget it.
to be honest, like.
You best believe it.
Here, we heard a rumor that what's called some of the boys, Nathan was getting used to try and grow like a beard, but shave off your mustache just how you represent one of the Dagestani.
It's coming. I'll shave off the mustache next week. You know, get them real prepared for the fight. Then make them think that they are fighting the Dagestani boys. Yeah,
I can't do it.
Lads, oh my God, this is unbelievable.
This is a 10 out of 10 guest performance, isn't it?
Oh my God.
100%. I'll do what is
Senan, before we let you go, Senan, do you want to announce when you're fighting next?
The IMAFs. I'm going to the IMAFs now in Serbia, thanks to my brother John. John's helped me out. He's helped me get there. Same with Munir in 971. So I couldn't be happier. I'm getting to go over there and show me level now and go onto the European stage now. I'm just excited to go over now and just test me level. That's actually all I want to go over there for and show levels.
Yeah, so
bring home that gold.
Make sure to check out Senan in Serbia, representing Ireland at the IMAF Euros on the 14th of February. Senan, best of skill there, bud, yeah?
Legend, boys. Thanks very much. Right, enjoy. See you
there,
later.
John, before we wrap things up, I know Ross asked Senan there, but is there anything else you want to say to the people tuning in from all around the world, and especially Cork, and also we'll be tuning in to see you on January 25th?
Just the same thing as always, you know, for the last 10 years, like, God bless him, Cork has always been the best support ever, you know what I mean? Even there's people coming all the way from Cork for this fight. You've got all the Irish expat community here in Dubai coming out to the fight. So once again, pressure is a privilege. Like, honestly, you know, I always say to Sen, like, I know I'm always meant to do this for as long as my body can, which is another 10 years at least, because I'm so happy to be in these positions again. I just love these fights and I love being here. So that's it. Yeah, thanks very much to everyone that's going to come. It's going to be a knock.
And just one last thing, obviously we had the crack on this and we had lots of laughs, but obviously tragically this week Emil Piatek passed away to cancer. He was obviously an absolute phenom on the Irish scene and the amateur levels, 14-2 as an amateur member of many an IMAF squad. You shared a few cards with him, John. What's your memories of Emil?
It's terrible news. You know, Emil was an absolute top man. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. You know, we actually fought in Wales together and he put on a hell of a fight. And he was only a young lad then. And even throughout the years, we trained together a good bit as well. And, you know, that's another thing, like, look at the position we're in at the end of the day. We're fighting on these massive events. We're enjoying our time. And you see something like this. This guy would have been probably on the main card by now if he was still fighting. So, you know, it's terrible news. But let's go do this for him as well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thoughts go out to Emil, his family, and then obviously all the CMAC team as well. Because look, he was an absolute top talent, and from what everyone else has said about him, he was a top guy. So shout out to all the CMAC guys.
Yeah, shout out to Emil as well.
Yeah. So that sort of wraps up this portion of the show with yourself, John. Go smash him over there. You're developing a brilliant squad over there. It's sort of almost like a low key story to keep an eye on. Who's next to be brought over to this Dubai squad? Who will it be?
We'll get you over next.
Yeah,
that's
sure. Look, you know what I mean, we're trying to keep the squad healthy. You know what I mean. You don't want me going over there injuring everyone. You know what I mean. Like there wouldn't be.
We do. Sending will cake you out there on the weekend. You'll have a great time with them.
Look, he wouldn't be on my level of wrestling. You know. So and plus, like his arm bars wouldn't work on me. You know what I mean. That's his go-to jits move. You know what I mean. I'd smash and pass. You know what I mean. No bother. Give him the mother's milk. You know, north-south choke. He'd be gone.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
John, we want to thank you very much for your time. Best of skill on January 25th, and we'll let you get on with the rest of your day.
Yeah, lad, thanks for your time as always. You always get me on before the fight, so thank you very much.
Jiu-Jitsu by day, Energized Show by night.
So, Ross, that was John Mitchell, your favourite Corkonian.
Yeah, the Cork Horsebox. What a guy. He's in flying form. He's as we touched on, he's developed a lovely little squad over there, Team Ireland. We love to see it. And yeah, look, he seems to be very confident going in this one, and so he should be by the sound of things. So long may it last. And look, that card is really hotting up over there, and I'm looking forward to it. Look, we'll probably be talking about it next week as well, so we won't go too much longer on it.
Yeah. Now, supposedly it's going to be a pay-per-view event. John's on the the early prelims, so that won't be on the pay-per-view. So that could be on YouTube. We'll find out more as time goes on, Ross. But
Absolutely.
also, yeah, and if you are new, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you were tuning in last week from Cork, we don't hate Cork, Ross, do we?
Just a little bit. Nah, big fans.
By the way, you said Satanto helping. I was like,
Yeah.
what a shout.
Well, like, yeah, well, I could have said Roy Keane or Tony O'Sullivan or Dennis Irwin, but like, I thought I'd pick, an Irish sporting legend from one of our own Gaelic games,
Yeah, I thought you would have said Sean Oga helping. But we'll move on because, Ross, this weekend, the UFC is back, man. I know it was back last weekend, but the pay-per-views, UFC 311 is going down in Los Angeles. Ross, before we kick off the main card, there was big fires going on in Los Angeles. So is there any update from yourself regarding where the card will be held?
The last I saw, it's still going down into Intuit Dome in LA. I know there was the Clippers changed their venue for their game there during the week. But as far as I'm aware, the UFC are going ahead with the Intuit Dome. But I also have heard that the T-Mobile Arena is actually has nothing on this Saturday. So if it will be a last-minute change, it will probably be a last-minute change to Vegas.
Okay, well, there is 2 title fights on the line this weekend. In the main event, Islam Makhachev is defending his world lightweight title against Arman Tsarukyan. This is a rematch. They fought before and Islam won. Ross, what you make of this fight and who are you expecting to win?
I think people are going to really underestimate Arman Tsarukyan going in this fight. I think, obviously, with good reason, people are all aboard that hype train of Islam Makhachev. But like these guys, the last time they fought was in 2019, and we saw Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas fight there at the weekend, and Ribas won the last time out, and this time out, Mackenzie Dern got their hand raised. I wouldn't be surprised to see Arman Tsarukyan get the job done. He is an absolute elite fighter. He's on a serious run. His last 2 wins are Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush. He's got serious power in his hands. And yeah, like I just don't think it's going to be as straightforward as Islam would like it to be. Sort of take down, bit of top pressure, and sort of look for maybe like a head and arm or a rear naked choke. They seem to be his best finishing maneuvers. But yeah, I would definitely not count out Islam Makhachev Arman Tsarukyan at all. I think he's a top fighter.
What do you make of Islam Makhachev as a champion as well?
In terms of actual skill and in terms of like dominance, easily one of the best we've seen in a very long time. But I don't think he's a seller. I don't think he's a massive draw. I think like a large part of his drawing power is he has Khabib in his corner type of thing. So that's the way I look at it. But I think like he's definitely got a big aura about him. And I think like, we're sort of waiting for someone to sort of be the person to beat him, or that the fans really can get behind that they think will beat him. If that makes sense. Like I think when he fought Charles Oliveira, I don't think people were like, I think he's gonna lose. When he fought Dustin Poirier, I don't think people thought he was gonna lose. I think going into the first Volkanovski fight, I didn't think people thought he was going to lose. But then going into the second Volkanovski fight, people were like, oh, maybe Volk might get him, because a lot of people think Volk maybe won the first one. So yeah, I think this one's going to be a lot tighter, and I think the co-main event is super tight as well. I think Merab Dvalishvili going in as champion against Umar Nurmagomedov, I think is a really compelling fight. I think Umar Nurmagomedov as the challenger is actually the favorite going into this one. Obviously, again, with the Nurmagomedov namesake, he will have Khabib in his corner. And I think people just think Merab won't be able to use his heavy wrestling game against Umar. They don't think that will work against the Dagestani. So I'm going to be very interested. I'm actually most interested to see how does that one actually physically play out. Like, will the wrestling on both ends nullify each other? And will that end up on the feet? And who'll get the job done there? But I think some really interesting fights, because I thought Corey Sandhagen did really well against Umar Nurmagomedov, the way he defended the takedowns. A lot of sort of like reaching over, sort of using his length against him to defend the takedowns. Obviously, Merab doesn't have that, so it's going to be interesting to see how Merab does it. They're both sort of shorter and stockier fighters, so yeah, I think they're both absolutely massively compelling. I suppose you want to know who I think is going to win.
Well, I actually want to know first, what fight are you most interested in? Like, and also what fight do you think the fans are most interested in out of the two title fights?
I think it could be fairly 50-50. I think Islam's probably the biggest name out of the four of them. So I think that one probably is there. But I think more people think, like, if you were to poll 100 people, I would say somewhere between 70 and 85% would say Islam is gonna win. Maybe more on the 85%, right? I suppose I think if you ask Merab versus Umar, I'd say maybe like 60% think Umar is going to win, 40% think Merab's going to win. So I think people think the Merab fight is closer, but I think most people are interested to see can someone foil Islam, or even the way people say Ingari made Shavkat look human. I think they're looking for someone to make Islam look a bit human.
Yeah, at the moment there is a poll out saying it's Team Islam Makhachev against Team Arman Sarukian. At the moment it's 68% for Islam, 32% for Arman. So that sounds about right. I'm actually thinking that Islam's going to win. There's just something about Islam that I don't feel connects to the sort of fan base here in Ireland. Maybe it's the Dagestan thing. Obviously, it's the Ireland against Dagestan, and because the thing is, I don't really know what it is, because I saw him. I remember the Nelt boys went over to Dagestan, right? And like they showed Islam there, and like he actually seems like he's sort of funny, and like he seems like a decent guy.
He's funny when he's being interviewed by DC.
Yeah, so and that's the thing, because it's not like he's not funny. It's just whatever he's doing it doesn't really connect. But I think Islam's going to win this. Just like he's beaten Arman before. Like I think Islam's actually getting better at the moment. In the co-main event, I actually think Umar Nurmagomedov's going to win as well. I like the way Merab is like he's always putting up these funny videos, like beating Sean O'Malley. Like he's doing everything right. Like the way he was like a great teammate of Aljamain Sterling's, didn't want to fight for the title until Aljamain maybe moved up or lost it, which he eventually did. Has done both actually. But I just think Umar Nurmagomedov is going to win. Merab's obviously lost four times before. Umar has never lost. I think it's going to be an Islam win and an Umar win. Would you concur or not concur?
I think they'll definitely be the betting favourites. I think a lot of it also will come down to, I want to see these guys on the scales, because these guys I feel like do massive weight cuts to make their respective weight class. So I'd be all for seeing them on the scales and then making a call there. But I'd agree, they're definitely the favourites going into it. And I think with good reason they're the favourites going into it.
Yeah, but usually we don't agree. People should see us talking before this. We never agree. So if we agree on this, we're probably going to be wrong with our calls. Yeah.
But some other sexy fights in the card, Bazo. Our mate Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill. The winner there could get a title shot against Pereira, no?
Yeah, let me tell a story about Yuri Prohaska, right? Hopefully he doesn't tune in here or else he'll kill me. When myself and Ross were over at UFC London for Leon Edwards against Kamaru Usman. This third fight, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Third fight, yeah.
Yeah, it was their third fight, yeah. Myself and Ross were doing like a live show in the O2 with John Gooden, and we had Tom Aspinall there,
Arnold Allen, Ioanni and Jacek, few peeps,
yeah, and Yuri Prohaska,
yeah,
and Yuri Prohaska sat right beside me, right, and there's actually a clip, and I asked him to shout out and say he's coming, and. Remember when he stood up and like absolutely roared it, and all the fans loved that saying? I don't know. I think that's his saying. It's a very famous saying around the world anyway. But I remember I was sitting right beside him, and there was this massive snot hanging out of his nose. And I was like,
man.
I was like, I feel like I should tell him, but like this guy's too scary to tell.
Snotty Prohaska.
Oh man, like I should have given him a tissue, bro. Jesus, it was like sitting beside you on the bus.
Yeah, but
home.
you think he's going to beat Jamal Hill? That's the real question.
Yes, I think Yuri Prohaska will beat Jamal Hill.
And what about Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano? What's your thoughts there? Who gets their hand raised?
I'm just more of a fan of Renato Moicano, so I'm actually just sticking my fandom there. He last defeated what's his second name? The French dude in France. In the main
Benoit
event.
Saint-Denis.
Benoit Saint-Denis, yeah. When he defeated Benoit Saint-Denis in Paris in the main event, I became a proper believer. I know he's been calling out Paddy the Baddy for ages. I know he's fighting Dariush. Dariush was getting a slight push for a moment until he lost. I think Dariush just hasn't got enough selling power that I think the UFC would rather Moicano win, and I think he probably will. His podcast seems to be doing well. He seems to be a funny guy.
Moicano.
I go Moicano by submission. I'd go Yuri Prohaska by knockout as well.
I think Moicano will actually win by knockout.
Really,
That's just me. And then Kevin Holland, Big Mouth is fighting Renier Riviere. Obviously, he was a double champ over and won. Interesting fight. I think very evenly matched this one. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with the Ritter on this one. I think Kevin Holland is obviously very, very good, but I don't know. I feel like Ritter's got the championship level experience, so that's who I'm gonna go for on that one.
I heard people weren't too blown away by the Ritter's UFC debut.
No, he fought Gerald Meerschaert, and I think it was a third round submission win, but like late in the third round. Said he was very, very gassed. So we'll see, but I think that could be just UFC jitters type of thing.
Yeah,
First
a win is you're better off winning than losing, baby.
Yeah.
Ross, Johnny Walker was meant to be taking on Bogdan Guskov on this card. You said that is no longer on the card.
Yeah, no, it's not. Johnny Walker is now injured. I don't know. Johnny Walker looks like he's moved over to Vegas full time as well. So I don't know if that was just for this camp or was full time. Send him a message to find out. So we'll let you know on next week's show. See if that's a full time move.
Who's he training with?
Eric Nixick.
Yeah, so sure. Will Fleury's been there a good bit as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has indeed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's permanent or not. But he was in Vegas for Christmas anyway. So he's definitely considered. Also, Peyton Talbot is fighting on the card. That man will fight for a UFC title in his future. He is one of the hottest prospects at bantamweight, probably the hottest prospect since Sean O'Malley. Obviously, Jelton Almeida is also on the card. I wouldn't be surprised to see him fight for a UFC heavyweight title down the line. He is one of the younger heavyweights in the division. And then Grant Dawson versus Carlos Diego Ferreira is the main event of the early prelim card, and that one could be a fight of the night contender. Some really, really good fights on this card, Basmo.
Yeah, well, like sometimes the way the UFC put out so many cards, people give out about how good the cards are. For instance, the card that just went by, I think when we were just looking at it, we were like, right, main event, Dern versus Ribas 2, and then also Chris Curtis against Kopylov were the only fights that we were really like, make sure to check them out with due to name recognition. Like this weekend's card is going to be very good. Looking into the future, the next fight card that is booked is going to be February the 1st. Israel Adesanya is taking on Nasruddin Imavov. But next week we will be discussing all the action from 311, and it's just great to have the UFC back. Like obviously, when we're doing shows, it's very important. Events are on to discuss these shows, Ross, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, it's better when there's fights and potential matchups to discuss than when there's not. So, yeah, I'm definitely all for the more fights, the better. And speaking of more fights, the better, Basmo.
Ross, who would have guessed it was very important for fighting shows to be on, for us to have a show?
Yeah, well, otherwise we'll just be making stuff up to keep you guys entertained. But speaking of fighting shows, I believe Omran Shaban will make the walk to the cage to defend his title this weekend, Basmo. Is that correct?
I actually think it's just a catchweight, so I don't think he is defending his title.
Oh,
it is on UAE Warriors this Thursday. So for people that are tuning in, Omran, he was previously on The Ultimate Fighter. He's also the current UAE Warriors welterweight champion, and he's fighting now TNKF, so that'll be interesting. So we will be keeping you updated on that for Thursday. On Saturday then, also for people who are fans of boxing, Misfits Boxing is going on. Darren Till is going to be fighting against Pretty Boy Taylor. Ross,
is this the main event?
It sounds like the main event to me, man. It's in Manchester, and it was meant to be Till versus Fury. Let me just jump onto the card.
I actually thought it was the co-main event.
Well, you're usually the guy who is all over this stuff.
Oh yeah, me and influencer boxing like toe and toe. Where's Donna Corby when you need him?
No, it is Darren Till, Pretty Boy Taylor. Let's see who else is meant to be on this card. Any decent names on this card? Bevo is on it. Bevo's on it, man. He's fighting Dimitri Donius. Not
Dimitri
really.
Donius.
Bevo's back.
I'm not even like. I'm on the Wikipedia card here. I'm saying Wade Plemons versus Masai Warrior.
The Masai Warrior. Yeah, Wade Plemons was meant to fight HS Tiki Taki.
These sort of sound like made up names. Half these, you know.
Yeah.
Adam Brooks versus Gavino. Like that sounds like a made up person.
Well, I think we're getting old, man, because some of these guys.
Little T versus Afghan Dan.
Afghan Dan. He's a rapper, isn't he?
Man, I have no idea. But like
Afghan Dan is a rapper. Yeah, he used to. Jeez, look the stuff I'd see these days. Ross. Yeah, so Darren Till against Pretty Boy Taylor. That's going to be the main event in Manchester this Saturday. Ross, a few fight announcements happened this week before we wrap things up. Probably the most notable one was officially announced on the Energized Show that Caolan Loughran is going to be facing Nathan Fletcher at UFC London. Ross, what do you make of this fight?
Well, we were the ones who announced it. Not that everyone gave us credit for it, but look, sure, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Haters gonna hate. Yeah, I think it's an absolute stunning matchup. Obviously, the two fought at amateur. Nathan Fletcher got his hand raised in that one. I think both guys are at the perfect place in their career for the fight to happen. Yeah, I think it's really compelling. I think obviously there's two Liverpool gyms going head to head. I think also like come fight week, I think this fight will start to get a lot more attention. And if I were the UFC, when you're doing like the press conference, I put both these guys on the press conference. If I'm honest, I feel like this one has the potential for a touch of bad blood in the build up, not like real bad blood, but a touch of he said.
Yeah, well done there. Sean O'Bannon's also going to be fighting that card, Ross. It's going to be great to see Sean O'Bannon back in action. Mama B, she's working really hard. One thing I will say is it was really, really cool to see Sean O'Bannon, Nadina Bissa, Amy Scully, Emer Darcy. I'm probably missing someone here. All training together. All the top Irish. Kyle Sullivan as well, sorry. All the top Irish fighters trained together at the one time. I thought that was really, really cool to see. That was cool to see, yeah. I love to see more of that. Yeah. Well, it's the same with the lads over in Dubai. I mean, it's cool to see that as well. Yeah, and also, like, it's hard to find top female training partners, so great to see them there. Yeah, so Sean O'Bannon will be on that card as well. She'll be taking on Tomar. Yeah. Who I think is under 5 foot. Pooja Tomar, sorry, excuse me. Who I think is under 5 foot as well. What? I think she's like 4'11". Well, how tall is Shauna? 5'4", maybe. Yeah, but you said I think she's under 5 foot as well. Oh, as well. Okay, no, just as in like in general. No, because okay, right. Not as well as Shauna. No. People were saying as well they want to see the likes of Kiefer Crosby on this card. I think Kiefer's still out with his shoulder issue. They were saying they want to see Reese McKee. There is going to be fight news coming soon for Reese. He put up the skull emoji and the time emoji. So like he maybe something's in the works for that fella. Yeah, and then I don't think Conor McGregor will be fighting that card. He's playing football over the weekend. Ross, did you see them clips? He was indeed. I saw him hit someone lovely body kick, kick over the volley, and I also saw him. I don't know whether was that a cross or a shot when he hit the crossbar. I think that was a shot. Was it? I have to give him credit. Yeah, I have to give him credit. Hit the crossbar. So look, Luke Shaw's been out injured for a while. We need a new left wing back. He could maybe do a job for us. And also, I was back over the weekend, Ross. 1-3-2, set up the third goal, the winner, man. Yeah, well, what did you do? Swing a ball in or what? Yeah, no, I sort of whipped it around the back. And for fight fans as well, just because we were talking about Misfits boxing and MMA, Carl Byrne was playing for the opposite team. So if if anyone's talking to him, let him know that I had him in my
Yeah,
pocket.
if anyone's looking for him, he's still in Baz's back pocket.
If someone has to send that to him, because I never said, like, I noticed him and then he did not notice me, so I wasn't going to start saying
Yeah,
that.
lovely new Delph.
I should have brought the glasses, man, and maybe he would have noticed, man.
Yeah. Class, man. He didn't notice your new lovely physique. That's it.
That's it, man. Look, people just think I'm like in terrible shape, and they'd be correct. Ross, I think that sort of wraps up the majority of stuff. Like,
Absolutely.
like I know the likes of Callum Walsh fight was announced. Emma Brennan's going to be fighting Cronin. Thomas Carty's going to be fighting that card. Paddy McCrory is going to be fighting that card. We'll get more into that as time continues, because there's also the likes of Crocker is going to be taking on Donovan as well. Like, there's a lot of action.
Yeah, there's a bit of boxing news that we'll probably delve in a little bit more this year.
Yeah, like next week's show, we're going to be discussing all the action from UFC 311. Hopefully, Amran Shaban gets the win. Bellator Dubai will be going on that week. We'll be getting more of the fighters on that are going to be competing on that. But Ross, I think that sort of like locks in everything that we needed to talk about this week. Like, also the passing of Emil Piatek, like, that was very, very sad. Like, I mean, in my family right now, there's cancer in it as well, and it's a terrible way to go. And we do really like to see the MMA community, the Irish MMA community, getting together,
big time,
and like supporting Emil there. It's just a beautiful thing to be part of, in a sad situation. But look, this Irish MMA scene is very, very important to us. It's very, very important to many, many people. And whether you compete in it, tune in, watch, like, buy the pay-per-views, stream the pay-per-views illegally. Wink, wink. Look, it means a lot to everyone. So when the community gets together behind someone passing, it's a very, very touching moment. Ross, on that note, is there anything else you want to say to the millions of people tuning in every week to the Energized Show and liking and subscribing and following the Instagram page for all the latest combat sports news around the world?
No, guys, just want to say thanks so much for everyone who does support us. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. You know, that like and subscribe button, you can never hit it enough. We're really, really appreciative of all the support you give us on a weekly basis. Thanks a million for staying tuned. Be you, be happy, and as always, stay energized.
Jiu-Jitsu by day, Energized Show by night.